tourist related. Now we do have two big families in town, the Zender family and the Broner family. We're going to go up here and go to the second traffic light and make a left turn and start to go across. Well, we're going to go up and bypass the bridge. So we're going to just continue on up here. Now there's two restaurants here that many of you may have had lunch at, are two separate restaurants. Up till 1956 they were all in the same family. But for estate planning they broke it into the two sons. And we'll talk about that as we come on back along the way. Now we're going to go straight up one more traffic light, and then we're going to bypass this bridge here. If you look to the left, when we pass here, you're going to see the wooden bridge and the access to the parking on the other side. So off to your left, you're going to see the Cass River, and then the nice wooden bridge over there, which does have a weight restriction on there. Now this is the Cass River, which starts 40 miles to the left and goes over into eventually the Saginaw Bay. This fish passage project on your right side was put in about 6 years ago to allow fish to bypass the dam that is over there. As we come along here, the area to the left used to have a Carling Brewing Company here, but they were bought out by Heilman, and they did not want the brewery, they just wanted the name Black Label. So they sold it to the city, and they eventually tore the building down and put up this shopping center here. About 42 different stores here. As I said, there's two big families in. The Zender family has the left side of the street on the one Zender, and the other has right. Here's this clock shop that we were talking about earlier here on your right hand side. The clock shop there right on your right hand side. We're going to come up here and turn left at this traffic light. Now we have 5 traffic lights in town, but this is undoubtedly the worst intersection in town. And it's because of this white building over here on the right. Yes, Kern's Sausage. In this corner here you can get bratwurst, knockwurst, liverwurst. This is the worst corner in town. Laugh it up, they don't get any better, folks. Okay, as we come around the corner here, we're going to come on up here, and we're going to make a left at this little road right about where this white truck is coming across now. We're going to turn left to go into this shopping area here. Now the building on the right here, this house, is actually one of 3 dormitories that the Zender family has to bring in help up to the restaurant during the seasons, and so they do have to import help into here. We're going to go up to the road ends and turn right. Now underneath all this shopping center here is a huge underground aging cellar for when they had the brewery here. And so now all these stores have a huge warehouse underneath them to have their out-of-season decorations and stuff like that. They also store a lot of the Christmas and other activities during the time that it's not needed. We're going to come on up here and probably follow this truck ahead of us, making a left turn just past these big evergreen trees on the left.
Is that a golf course?
This is just a parking lot here on the right. We'll get to that in a few seconds. We do have a golf course behind us. It's not really visible for the tourist area, but the other Zender family, who has the hotel behind us, they own the golf course, the big hotel behind us, as well as the Zender's restaurant. The other family, the Zender family, owns the Bavarian Inn, the hotel that is directly ahead of us, plus many other places, including the cheese shop. Now the Zender family that has this side of the street basically has the restaurant. If you look to the left, you'll see a big bird cage over there, and there is a albino peacock in there. It may or may not be showing out today. We're going to turn right here at this first driveway here. He's right in the front corner, but he's not showing off. This is the hotel in town here. The whole top level is all a huge convention center. And you can see we have a convention with all the cars here. The nice thing is, because this is all in the same family on this side, when the restaurant behind us has their Christmas party, they come up here and have the whole top floor. And then when the lodge here will turn left just past this gray car.
With that guy there.
Yeah.
I'd say we're backing up. Let's see, we might be able to do it.
And then when the lodge here has their party, they go down to the restaurant so that everybody here at the lodge can enjoy their time here. This is the first time we've ever had a problem here. And of course, you know, it's one of those cases that people don't park very well. So anyway, this hotel here has been built in 6 different sections as they continue to expand as they go along here. Very, very nice facility here, and they're big enough to handle any convention that comes into town here without any problems whatsoever. The trouble is, you check in over on the left side, but the rooms are all way back here, and every so often we'll have people unload up there and then just reload all, because here's all the rooms here on the left side now coming in. As we come down here, we're going to turn right at the yield sign down here and then make an immediate left onto the street. But you can see this is quite a large hotel, over 300 rooms in the hotel here. Now as we make our right turn and then a left turn on the street, we're going to come down into our largest of our parks here, Heritage Park here. And this is where we had 2 weeks ago the Auto Fest. 1,900 antique vintage cars here in town here. It is the biggest festival we have. Raises over $235,000, all for charity. Every penny that is raised here, whether or not it's with the Auto Fest or the various clubs that help put it on, all basically end up with the biggest festival. Now, almost every other weekend, we do have a festival, and we're going to follow that white car up ahead and just make a big U-turn, parking someplace for a minute in the parking lot over on our left-hand side. The hall on the right was made possible by the Rotary Club here, and they can seat 4,000 people. So now over to the straight ahead is the basketball court. Off a little bit to the right is the volleyball courts. Straight ahead of us is several picnic pavilions, as well as 4 baseball fields here. And this area, everything that is green, was covered with 1,900 cars 2 weekends ago. Unbelievable the amount of people who come in and the cars that come on into this area here. But the ballpark you see right ahead of us, all totally covered with cars. Where we're parked right now is where the automobile aftermarket people are. All the car parts and everything are all parked here, and very nice facility over to the left side where you have a huge flea market for all sorts of automobile related. Now behind us, you can't really see it from this area, is our Handicapped kayak facility. And upriver or to your left, you can go up on a boat, on a van and bring your kayak up there, put it in at one of these handicapped facilities. And this is a pier that goes out, and beside the pier is a bunch of rollers which are level with the pier and then go down into the water. And beside that is a railing. And if you're handicapped up north here, you can just put your kayak in, paddle on down here to this area here, where the van will then come down and pick you back up as you pull yourself out of the water. One of our many athletic fields that we have. So we're going to continue on back up that road we just were on. Now the area to the left over here is a big parking area where the people who are coming in here try this park. And this will be filled up immediately as soon as the festival starts. So then you have to take a bus in from Broner's or from one of the other parking areas. But this is the premier parking here because you can still get to your car here. Now with all the facilities I just mentioned behind me, there's one facility, we have the football field out at the high school, but there's one activity that we do not have here right now. Who can tell me what sporting activity?
Soccer?
Soccer is the #1 deal. For 12 years we've been trying to get a soccer field in Frankenmuth here. Everybody in town wants a soccer field, but NIMBY, which means not in my backyard. So after 5 tries, the area to the left, just past the cornfield here, the area to the left is where the soccer field is going to be put in. There's going to be 4 regulation fields, 4 junior fields, 4 training fields, and a huge gymnasium over here on this area over here. They are still waiting for 2 more corporate gifts to go ahead and put the final building in. But this is a kind of a nice facility. Now the wind always comes from the west, that's to your right, and blows to the east to your left. So every year over Memorial Day weekend, they have a big dog show here, and they have a balloon festival. So if you live west of town or over to your right, and you don't mind them taking off a balloon from your front yard, you can put a sheet out there, and they try to fly over and drop a target in the center of this area coming up on your right hand side. A few years ago, I put a sheet out, and Saturday morning there was a big commotion. I look out the window and I have 3 balloons in my front yard taking off. I'm in my underwear, I run, grab my bathrobe, come on in here, and now I see 5 balloons out front. And I'm taking pictures. They said, don't forget the 2 in the backyard. So depending upon where you are in the wind velocity, depends on where they're going to launch from. After we make this stop up here, we're going to continue down this road here, and basically we have 2 dealerships in town here. This is the Chrysler Plymouth dealership on the left hand side. We also have a GMC dealership at the other end of town. We do not have a hospital here, but we do have an urgent care here, and we have 3 doctor's offices here in town here. The first doctor's office is coming up right here on your right hand side. This is also the location of the woolen mill here. This is where they card the wool, make it into yarn, and that's all going over here on the right side. You can actually go in town and see the store in town where they do sell the new vintage woolen deal here. Now we had a family who owned this motel here on the right hand side, the Frankenmuth Motel, and when they died they left all their money to the city beautification, of which part of it is these flower plants that are hanging on the lampposts here. This motel here, as I said, is now owned by the Bavarian Inn, but when they sold it, they donated all their money, and we'll see what they did with the money a little later on. We do have a little small industrial park coming up here on the left hand side, and this is where we have some of our industry in town. A construction company has done a lot of the building here. The military museum on the right hand side has a lot of our Michigan military and space people. Several of the people have their military uniforms in there, including many Medal of Honor winners. Now on the right side is the hotel that the other Zender family, Zender restaurants, have, and that is a huge pool. We'll see that a little later on. Because it's cold, the roof is closed today, otherwise it would be open. Now we have agriculture every place that you don't have a house, and on the right side we have some beans that are growing that have not been harvested yet. Our 4 crops that we have are winter wheat, which is planted last fall, germinated about 6 inches tall, and then went dormant for the winter. The nice thing is it's already in the ground growing when it's too wet for tractors. It's harvested right around the 4th of July, and we'll see where it goes a little later on. We also have the beans that we see over on the right. We have sugar beets that are growing, and we also have wheat, corn, sugar beets. That's 4. Yeah, 4 crops. On the left side is our aerial part. Back in those trees over on the far left side up this street here, there's all sorts of walkways up 20 to 30 feet off the ground. You're put in a harness with a trolley overhead, and you can walk all over those trees there. Now coming up on your right is Broner's. You folks and I will never see any of this stuff here on your right hand side. This is all commercial sales. Sales to shopping centers, sales to cities, large industrial places like that. We have shipping and receiving there on your right hand side. Now we're starting to get into the 7 acres under roof that is the shopping center here on your right hand side. On the left side we have the Grandpa Tiny's farm, and this is where a lot of the agricultural stuff is handled in various areas where people in town maybe have an interest in becoming farmers. We have the cattle out right now. Before we go down here and make a right turn at the last driveway, I'm going to pass back these crests of the city of Frankenmuth. This here is the crest that we have in the city, and pay close attention to the little what we call Lutheran roads down here in the right hand side. It basically talks one more street. It basically talks about the symbols that are on the crest here, and we'll just pass these back till they get all the way back. Now as we make our right turn here, and of course the truck would have to be right in our way. On the left side, you can see a big white octagonal building. This is the replica of the Silent Night Chapel over in Austria, where the tune Silent Night was written in the original building. Broner got permission from the Austrians to build this building. And when you're at Broner's tomorrow, you can make a short little walk out of the store to your right down this pathway here on your right, and right into the Silent Night Chapel. They play Silent Night in both English and in German all the time that the store is open. This is not the entrance you're going to come into tomorrow. We'll see the entrance tomorrow, but you can walk out of this entrance here and walk right over to the chapel. Now, I live behind all those trees that are straight ahead of us, and during the summertime, I can see light on all these lit up decorations out here. During the winter time, when there's no leaves on the trees, I can actually see some of these decorations from my house. These decorations are lit up every night and will stay to the left all the way along. I can see these decorations lit up at night. They're lit up from sunset, which at wintertime is 5:30, in the summertime it's 9 o'clock, until 11 o'clock at night. Basically, the decorations for the lit up area outside, not counting the store, just the outside decorations, are over $1,200 a day for these outdoor decorations. Very, very nice to see them all lit up every night. Now on your right will be the store you'll be going to tomorrow. You're going to pull into this tomorrow, into this alcove over here, and they'll be let off right there. This is the west entrance. This is where you will go ahead and get off tomorrow and get back on the coach. There are 7 acres underneath the roof there, and there is a map right as you go in there. They will tell you all the different sections that you're going to, and there's also bathrooms right inside the front door as you go in their area. Now back in 2006, an atheist moved into town here, and he saw that crest that's being passed back on either side, and he saw that little cross in the road, what we call Lutheran roads. He said, you cannot have that cross on this bridge that will cross up ahead of us. And so it went to the state Supreme Court, and eventually they said, maybe you better take that crest off the bridge. So he took the crest off the bridge, the city did, and now he said, I'm going to take that crest off everything in town, whether it's city owned or state owned or whatever. The town, the church, and we'll see a little later on, said enough is enough. You can't do that. And they made 800 of these little wooden crosses and gave them to anybody in town who wanted to put this cross on their yard. 800 of these crosses showed up overnight. The atheist kind of looked at the crosses and said, I met my match, and we never saw him again. So as we come up here, just past, when we get onto Main Street and make a right turn, you can see the first of these 800 crosses. They are still all over town. The trouble is they're now about 15 years old. So they're starting to get either, if you pound them in the ground, they're starting to rot at the ground. If you just put a post in there, and they're starting to lose their paint. So there is a process now to upgrade the crosses and everything. You can make your own, you can use the ones the city had. But as we get up here to the street and turn right, just as we turn right, you're going to see a big evergreen on your right side, and back by the driveway, you'll see the first of these over 800 crosses that we have all over the city. So now on the right hand side, just past these evergreens, back by the driveway, you're going to start to see the first of these 800 wooden crosses throughout the city. Now, on this restaurant that we're going to see the glockenspiel a little later on, at that restaurant, Dorothy Zender is the matriarch of our city. So look down the driveway here to your right, and you'll see the first, there it is over there by the flowers, the first of the 800 wooden crosses that are all over the city. We'll see them throughout the city. Now, the patriarch of the Bavarian restaurant is a lady named Dorothy. Her and her husband started the Bavarian theme here, and basically they have gone on. She just turned 100 years old last December 1st. Her car and her house is coming up on the left-hand side. She drives her car, her big black Buick, to work 6 days a week when she is working. She basically is the salad lady. She's the one who makes all these different salads, which is the big difference between the two restaurants, is the salad. Since they originally were owned by the same family, the chicken, the potatoes, and the noodles and stuff are pretty much the same. But her salad is what separates the two different areas here. They are going to be putting in, where you see these left side signs here, a huge Hilton hotel in that area. They just bought out the property owners and are in the process of getting them moved out of that area into the new place they'll be moving to. Now, 1, 2, 3, fourth house on the left is this nice brick ranch here. And this is where Dorothy lives. Now, of course, she's always visited by her children, grandchildren, and other employees. So not every day do we see her driving in, but it is not unusual to see this big black Buick of hers driving into town. Here I am, 75, and I'm worried about my eyesight. She's 100 and just drives right into town. But that is her house there. She is the queen, the undisputed queen of that. And when she turned 100 last December, they had a nice party at the restaurant. And basically, the TV, the newspapers, everybody was there. And after they sang happy birthday and ate the cake, they had a press conference and they asked her, what does she attribute her long life to? And she says without a blink, eat more chicken. 100 years old and sharp as a tack.
She still makes the salads.
She assists in making the salads. She's developing the new salads each quarter or so. There'll be a different salad there. So again, when you're over here by the shopping center, the clock store is right across the street there in this white building over there on the left side. This shopping center here has about 42 different stores in there, including a award-winning bakery in here. It's at the other side. And when you take your boat tomorrow tour, this is where you'll be coming over to get on the boat. You'll see the boat down in the water. What a good place for the boat to be. The boat will be down here in the river on your right-hand side down there. It should be in port right now. So now this is the bridge where they took the crest off of. The center flower pot, which is a little taller, is where the crests were. Now look underneath this bridge to the right and you should see your boat, tomorrow's boat ride. There it is, right over there. And you can just drive right in that parking lot off to the right and drop the people off. So that'll be your boat ride tomorrow afternoon. Now they just redid this levee here. This levee here, up till 1956, the river used to flood because of this U-turn here and the ice flowing down. And it would put 6 feet of water right where the restaurants are right now. Now Frankenmuth really got its start because 20 miles ahead of us is the city of Saginaw. 20 miles behind us is the city of Flint. It was a 2-day horse and buggy ride between the two cities. So they had to stop someplace. So every one of these little buildings that we're going to see in town, including the 2 massive restaurants, were just small little 8 to 10 room hotels. Now the 2 restaurants have expanded dramatically, but most of the other stores are just about as they were back in the 1880s, when they would have a small little hotel here, 8 to 10 rooms, bedrooms only, outhouse out back, stable out back, kitchen out back, and basically just spent the night here. The hotel on the right side, the Bavarian Inn, is where they started to get more people to come in by the all-you-can-eat chicken dinner. But just the center of the left building, and just where the pedestrians are up on the building, that was all that originally was. There were small buildings like you see on the left. This here is a jewelry store here on your left-hand side, but that was originally a hotel. The favorite store is the red and white building here. This is where Tiffany's restaurant is. This is like an old-time five and dime store. And upstairs, you can go upstairs and see the small little rooms, which are all display rooms now, but were all bedrooms at one time. On the right, of course, is your visitor center, your public bathrooms. On the left is a Michigan store here. The blue building is a nice candy shop, and again, these were all hotels, small little hotels. The yellow building on the left is a coffee shop, and a nice place for that. A bed and breakfast upstairs. The brick building on the right, 1/3, the back furthest away, was a hotel. They've added on to the historical museum here on your right-hand side. There is another nice little restaurant here called T-Dubs. This is kind of just a general restaurant here. On the left side is the candy store, and then a nice women's store here where you see the clothes outside. We have a candy shop here on the right side, a souvenir shop here coming up with the blue building, a nice wine bar here on the left with the red doors, the cheese shop here on the right, and we'll see what the times are as we come back down here. 5 p.m., 2 o'clock, 11 o'clock. All these 5 doors up here will open one at a time, and a person will come out with an animal.
Our hotel's right there.
Okay, then here's your hotel, Spring Hill Suites here on the left-hand side here. So unfortunately, the driveway is too steep to come in the front door here, so you'll have to go around to the side to come back in there. These houses all have a nice view of the river back behind us that we saw here. And the place to be is the hotel here on the right, because basically this hotel on the right, when this street for a mile and a half is shut down on Friday night, these balconies are just full of people looking at the cars in the crowd. And then the people on the other side of the hotel are overlooking the 1,700 to 1,900 cars in the parking lot. Now all of that winter wheat that we talked about earlier, which is used for baking flour, donuts, pies, bread, cereals, is milled right here in this building. We're going to turn right at the stoplight here. Now when Bronner's first started in 1954, they were in this building on the right side as we make our right turn here. The second building on the right was where Bronner's got its start as a sign making and Christmas display. Where you see the glass windows here is where Bronner's got its start, just in the building up to the end of the garage. They've added on the back of it, but that's where Bronner's got its start. On the left side is where all of this wheat is milled into flour, and it's all done in this brick building here. It runs 24/7, 6.5 days a week. They take Sunday night off. Look to your right and you'll see that big park and the river over to your right. Everything that you see it's green is covered with 1,700 to 1,900 cars. Now we've talked about the Zender family here. There's also the Broner family here. And the Broner Christmas tree family used to live in this house on the left. A very, very nice house here on the left side. They do not live there anymore. But that's where the Broner Christmas tree family lived. Again, to the right, you can see in here this big park over to your right side, along with the river. This is where you'll be going tomorrow on the boat ride. Now we're going to go down here to 5 houses on the left, and we're going to pull over to a very nice brick house. So we got 4 more houses to go before we see this. We'll pull over right behind this white car. And this is the Broner construction family house. And they built this house here to kind of show off some of their, just watch the trees, stay out of the way. We built this house. Now, Mr. Broner kind of built the house, but his wife did not want to be outdone. So she took it on those white posts, one by back of the garage and the other you can't see yet. She built an exact copy of their house for the birds. See the little bird house up there? Look at the bird, everything like that. So we're going to go down just a little bit further for you folks up front here, and you will see another post here on the far side of the house that kind of put her on the map. Okay. We're going to turn left at this first street up here. The owner of the house on the right side just died, and the house was sold and torn down, and they're now building this huge house here on your right hand side. It's huge, but it's not going to be the most valuable house. We do have $1 million house, which is out in the suburbs or so, but this house here, they brought it, tore the house down, and now we're building this huge house here on your right side. As we turn left here, straight ahead of us is the boat ramp where anybody can come in and launch their boats, no charge. They can park any place they want. That's also where we have our golf course, our frisbee golf course, our rose garden, one of our 6 churches we have in town. We have 3 Lutheran churches, the Catholic church just over to your right, ahead of us the Methodist church, and later on we'll see the Bible church. You notice how nicely landscaped everything is in town. Basically, they do a very nice job of keeping up, and if you don't do a good job, the City Beautification Committee will come talk to you. And if they come back a second time, they say the third time is the police. We will basically come up here and turn right at the football field here. We have 3 schools all linked together here. This is the high school ahead of us, and the superintendent and her husband, who's the football coach, just had a huge millage, a renewal and an improvement, and you can see how nicely the football field is with the track just being redone, the bleachers being redone, the scoreboard box all redone, and basically this is our kind of pride and joy. Now unfortunately, this is where a lot of kids leave school, so we're going to have about 4 bumps as we combine to try and slow down the students leaving school. Now we do have many different parks in town here, and this is one of our many parks here. You can see on the right side, they may have, notice pit tables are still there. They have fire pits there where you can come on over here and make dinner. Right ahead of us is the water park. The JCs in town built this park for about $2 million. On this side of the building is swing slides and other stuff. Then the building has restrooms and changing facilities. And then on the other side, during the hot summers, they have all these spray parks all over. They spray water down all over the area here. Very, very popular. Again, no charge or anything like that. We're going to pull in over by where that white car is and look at that big building that's down behind the tree there. The women's club, the Palmer family, when they left their money to the city, they wanted this place to be built down here, and the women's club took over it, and every Sunday night in July and August, they have a free concert down here on the stage here. No charge or anything like that. The population of Frankenmuth is 4,900. There'll be about 7,000 people down here. You can bring your own chairs here. You can lay on the grass. You can lay on blankets. Many of us will go over to the pizza place, grab a pizza, come on over here and just sit down here, listen to the concert. Right ahead of us, the little white building, is a snack bar and bathrooms and everything like that. The only problem is there's very limited parking here. So a lot of people will just come by, drop off the people out on the street there, and come back later on to pick them back up here again. Totally free, no charge, and like I said, very, very popular with the people down there. They will have what they call tribute bands. The publisher of the newspaper, his son is a Frank Sinatra impersonator, lives out in Las Vegas. But when he comes in here, if you close your eyes, you swear Frank Sinatra is right in front of you. Just a really, really nice deal here. And as I said, totally free, run by the Women's Club. So now we'll continue off to the left. We'll go right. Michigan, you'll see many picnic tables here. And down at the bottom of the hill, you'll see there's a road with some parking down there. And that is handicap parking. The nice thing is that they can just pull right in there, take their walker or just whatever, and get right over to the concert without a problem. Now we have the high school here on the left-hand side, 9 through 12. To the right, we have our elementary school, and that originally was first grade to fourth grade. They've then added a kindergarten, and now they have added a preschool. And this preschool opens at 7 a.m. and stays open until 6 p.m. so people can drop their children off on the way to work all day, and then come back and pick their children up at the end of the day. These 4 classrooms on the right side were just added on to enhance the preschool here. They've also built a new cafeteria. They've taken over the library. They have now built a new library. And so it's very, very popular amongst people there. On the other side of that school to your right is the middle school. That's 5th through 8th grade. And there are about 400 students in each of the schools. So that when the graduation goes, new crop starts here, moves next door, and then moves over here. We're going to turn left here at the sign. And let's see, I don't see it. The shop class here makes out a sports deal. So if you're playing baseball, they'll make baseballs. If you're playing soccer, they'll make soccer balls. And you can put your children's name on this deal and put it in front. But school it doesn't have sessions right now for sports. On the right's a beautiful house that belongs over in Cape May, New Jersey, just right on the New Jersey shoreline. This beautiful house here on your right-hand side. We're putting on a new addition. You used to just walk right in that door on the left side and you'd be right in school to see any of the administrators or anything like that. Not a very secure entrance into the school. So now they're putting up this new entrance here on the left-hand side where it will be segregated from the students. You'll go into an office and you'll have to be buzzed into the school, whereas before you walked right into the school. So more security is there just going on with that. On the left is what we call the BRAC Center, Broner Performing Arts Center. It was paid for by the Broner Christmas tree family and built by the Broner construction family. This is where we have graduations, where we have concerts, where we have school plays, and everything along that line there. These are all student parking here, and they're all assigned to a number. So if you pull in, you better not take one of the students' parking places, or else you may not have a car when you come back out. So now, on the left side as we approach the town here, on the left side, everything that's built new or remodeled must have a Bavarian theme. On the right side, it's still the city, but you do not have to do it. So on the right side, as we get up here to the traffic light, if you look, you'll see 7-Eleven, you'll see the post office, you'll see a car dealership, you'll see drugstores, you'll see Kroger's, and they're all just like you have in any other city in the United States or Canada, just built to what it looks like. You'll see the CVS drugstore here on your right-hand side, which looks like just about any other CVS in town. Now, fortunately, we may get stopped at this traffic light, and when we do, we're going to look across the street on the right side, and we'll see a big 7-Eleven Mobile Exxon gas sign right here on the corner here. We're not really interested in that sign, but we're interested in the location, because one block up at that same location right over there, we're going to make a left turn. But as we do that, you're going to see a big piece of steel standing up at about a 60-degree angle right in front of the fire station. It's about 14 feet tall, and it came from the World Trade Center. Our fire department did a lot of work with the firefighters and the people who lost their lives on 9/11. And as a result, we and 2 other cities in Michigan, Traverse City up north and Mount Clemens to the left, so we'll turn left here, are going to be receiving a piece of steel. This piece of steel, we don't know which tower it came from. We know it came from the 39th or the 79th floor. Those are what we call housekeeping floors. Very heavy duty floor. And that's what that pole in the center is. That's what pipes would have gone through to support the housekeeping of the places ahead of them. The next 40 stories on top of that. That would be the basically electricity, the fire prevention, the water for the next 40. There's another one that crosses right here on this first house on the right. This is one of the older streets in town. Very, very small houses You can see the little house here on the left side, which is now a tobacco store, but a very older area here. Now all of those flowers that we saw on Main Street, we'll see more of them as we come back along here. They're all started in the wintertime in Frankenmuth floors coming up here on your right. You're going to see 3 greenhouses right up against the street, and there's 4 more greenhouses back behind the ones that we see. And this is where all the flowers that are on Main Street, in the ground between the sidewalk and the street and hanging from the flower pots, are all started during the winter time here. So now here is the floral shop here on your right side. They have a community store out front here, and then past the visitor center is the first of the 3 greenhouses. And as I said, there's 4 more back behind here. Now in 1996, a tornado came right through Frankenmuth. It started over to the west to your right, and everything always goes from the right to the left. And it came right down this street we're going to turn right at when the street ends here. First of all, we're going to see the public library here. The library was damaged during the tornado. Not severely, but it was damaged. As we turn right here, you're going to see the hotel here on the left. And this hotel was not here in 1996 when the tornado came through. So there's nothing really on the left side where the tornado went through. Now, where you see this, we make our right turn, there's a big garage or a public building here on your right-hand side. There used to be a wooden Lutheran church here, St. John's Lutheran Church. It was totally destroyed by the tornado on your left-hand side. So basically the tornado came down this street going back behind us, destroyed the Lutheran church here on your left-hand side, continued across that vacant lot where the hotels are now, and then destroyed the brewery on the other side, which we'll see that later on. It then picked up as it went out for the water and went back up into the sky. You're going to see a very nice house here with probably still American flags. Yep, still got the American flags. This fellow here who owns this house here works for Delta Airlines, pilot. His job is to fly from Atlanta halfway to Australia twice a month. Life is tough, isn't it? So halfway across, then another crew takes over and flies the other half of the way twice a month to Australia. So we do kind of have to tease him a little bit. The flags are from the American Legion. Now, when the church was still back behind us, they were landlocked as far as the ability to do it. They wanted to put a school up. But before they did that, they bought this piece of property up ahead on the left and made this into the church's cemetery. Each of the 6 churches, 5 of the 6 churches have their own cemetery. The Bible Church does not. This is the church cemetery for the church that was destroyed during the tornado. It has been rebuilt back behind us. This is still an active cemetery, and I have come to a few of the military funerals here at that cemetery. You notice again, nicely landscaped on your left-hand side. These houses are just very, very nice, but kept up. The trouble is, you can't build in Frankenmuth. There's no vacant lots. So basically, you either have to, 1, buy a house and tear it down, or 2, do what this farmer is doing up here. And that is, the farms come all the way right up to the street here. But first of all, we're going to see the public cemetery here. If you do not belong to one of the 6 churches, you may be buried in the public cemetery here. And this is still an active cemetery. Now the farmer here on the left has property coming all the way out to the street. And this is about the only place that you can build on, is to buy the frontage off of this farm here on the left-hand side. Just 2 years ago, the farmer did sell off part of his crop area here, farmland, and built this house on the left-hand side coming up. They build the house right over to the edge, and they farm right up to the edge of this brand new house. Just past the barn on your left-hand side, you'll see the farm, and they still have the beans here. They haven't harvested the beans yet. But look at this bean field here, and notice on the left side, it goes right up to the edge of that brand new house back there. Now, at the bottom of this valley, we're going to pull over. There's a white fence over on the right-hand side. And we're going to stop momentarily at this fence down at the bottom of this valley. And this is good right in here, any spot here. Now, if you look to the right, you'll see some of the nicest houses we have in Frankenmuth. These are not million-dollar houses yet, but they're on their way to that. Those houses have a fantastic view. They all have what we call the walkouts, where you can just walk right out of the basement into the backyards there. You'll get another nice view of the houses here on the right-hand side. Now, there's a rumor, and I can't verify this, that they're all owned by bus drivers. I don't know about that. Okay, before we leave here, if you look out the front window, you'll see some big tall pine trees on the left side of the street. Underneath those pine trees is a replica of the first church that was built when the settlers came over here. And there was 15 settlers who came over here, 6 couples, 2 single men, and a child. They built a wooden log cabin, which is the replica here underneath the trees. We'll see it as we go over here. This is the original cemetery for the church. Then you'll see a brick church on the left, and this is now a museum here. And then on the right side, we're going to see the church in town, St. Lawrence. Back underneath the trees, you can see the wooden log cabin. Now, the 15 people who came over here, it's 6 couples, the 2 single men, and the child of the minister, were the first 15 people here, and they built this church eventually here on the right, the highest spot in town, to where no matter where you were in town, you could see the church. We're going to turn right at the driveway here, and as we turn right, on your left side is a big stone pillar with a brass plaque on it, and this has the names of the 15 people who came over and founded Frankenmuth in 1845. So there is the brass plaque right outside the front window here, now on your left side here. We're going to drive on down to that doorway on the right, the second doorway, right by that white sign. I am going to get off here and go over and make sure we can get into church. This is kind of usually the highlight of the tour. So bear with me for 1 second while I check to make sure we can get in. Now the soccer field over here on the left is all church property, and at any time they can be vacated if they have a conference or anything like that. So that's why they want to build that soccer field back where we were in the tour. On the right is Winter Village. This is a nice place for seniors. There's everything you could imagine. There's a bank there, there's a library, there's several TV rooms. You can have your pets there, you can have your animals there, you can have your own car there. Just a very nice place. The only trouble is you can't get in. The only way you get in is for somebody to move upstairs, or in my case downstairs, and go on from there. As we get up here to this street, we'll turn right and see Frankenmuth Mutual Insurance. Originally you had to be Lutheran and speak German to get insurance from Frankenmuth Mutual. That has been changed now, and now anybody can do it. They have a full-time gardener as well as 46 students from the local university in horticultural studies to work here during the time. Now when the tornado went down right down the street, we just were at where the church was. When the tornado went down, the people of Frankenmuth insurance were very concerned that had it gone down this street here, it could have destroyed a lot of their records and stuff. So after the tornado was done, they built a huge underground vault here where the insurance original copies and other computer programs are all stored down underneath. The nice thing is the Chamber of Commerce here does have these every quarter members open house. So we're up here looking at all the stuff here over at the church on the left hand side. But behind this parking landscape here is a parking lot. And then where you see the open area up ahead of us, this is where that underground vault is. Now the church we just were in has their offices here on the left hand side. They basically just built this brand new public building here on the left. Then we're going to get into the church offices. On the right side is where this underground vault is, underneath part of that building and underneath all these trees. On the left side is the administrative offices for the church. Then on the left side is their schools. This is kindergarten through 8th grade. If you want to continue your Lutheran education, you have to go to high school at Saginaw. This is one of 3 assisted living homes we have here in Frankenmuth. This is run by the Lutheran Church. Unfortunately, it's an older facility. They're getting ready to put a new building up here on this property just past this parking lot here. They basically will then build the new Lutheran home here on the right and then tear down the building that is outdated back behind us. In addition to the Lutheran home here, we have 2 other convalescent homes here. On the left side, coming up where you see this brick building, is Meadow Lodge. And then down at the other end of town is the Covenant Glen Assisted Living, which is all single person units. Now again on the left side, we'll be coming up to the City Hall complex. The first building we'll see is the city offices, as well as the senior citizens building down in the basement with, of course, an elevator to get down there. This will be the first building we see. The next building will be the fire station, the police station, and then the fire station. So coming up on the left, you see a building with a blue front end down in here on the left. This is our city complex here. Then we have the police department. We have round the clock police protection. And then we have the fire department here on the left. This is a volunteer fire department, and we basically have no problem. We're going to go straight through the intersection here. If you look to the left, you'll see a city steps. Any other city in the United States, we have the post office and drugstores. The pizza places, we have 3 different pizza parlors over there. The car dealership and everything like that. Yeah, this drugstore just came in. They bought out a little local drugstore, got their name in, and then they moved up here to this brand new building. There was a lot of controversy about them coming right out to the street instead of having the parking in front, and there was quite a bit of controversy over that. Now, one of the reasons that this tour was ran was because Nancy, your leader, wanted to check out her new house. Would you like to see Nancy's new house? Yeah? Okay. We'll see if we can't find a nice one. Nancy, would you like to see your new house?
Yes, I would.
Yes, you would.
Quite humble. Yes. That'd be beautiful.
Now again, this is the preschool here, and then next to this will be a big athletic field here. We used to have a Halloween bonfire back where this bleacher section is, but they basically decided they would put this huge sporting complex in here with all the bleacher facilities and everything like that. So then they had to move the bonfire over to the fire station. But this is the middle school here, 5th through 8th grade here. A smaller parking lot and a nice big bleacher section back there. We're going to go by the school bus barn where all the administrative school facilities are here. And we'll turn right at the first street here. As we turn, it's up a ways just a bit. As we turn here, we're going to see a church on the left-hand side. This is St. John's Lutheran Church. This is the second building where we used to have the building in town that was destroyed during the earthquake. So right here at this area here, where the church is on the left, the school here to the left, and then as we turn right here, we'll see if we can't find a nice house for Nancy.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard.
You still gotta put up with Jason. He's got a house here. Jason's got his house. Don't put them on the opposite side of it.
So here it is, Nancy,
Right there, yeah.
your new home.
Wow.
Our first $1 million home here in Frankenmuth here. It's owned by a family who owns the Surf Pro, the local fire restoration company, and they built that house over there for them.
Richard, do I have someone to share the house with?
Just with the tour guide.
Thank you, Richard.
Now, a lot of people in Frankenmuth are getting older and older, and since it's almost impossible to get in that winter garden that we saw earlier, the Lutheran Church came up with this idea of this assisted living here on the right side. And we'll get a little better view. But before they built all these condominiums on the right side, they had 6 family meetings at the local center here about what the seniors would like in their places to buy here. And so one of the things was they wanted a basement underneath all of the house, not just part of it. They wanted a 2-car garage. They wanted all these different things that the seniors were actually talking about what they wanted. We'll go right here. And so basically they came up with a figure of about $220,000 to $260,000. Basically every house here in Frankenmuth, as they're wanting to get out of yard work, snow shoveling, grass cutting and stuff like that, has well over $300,000 in their places. So basically they could sell their house, buy one of these units, and then still have $50,000 to $80,000 left over for maintenance fees and association. So you can see that there's either 4 units or 2 units in these complexes. This one on the right has 4 units on it. The more popular ones are just 2, because those 4 units, the center 2 don't have an end view. Whereas here, this one here is another 4 unit, which means that the center units here don't have an end view. Whereas the next units over here, the one with the gray front has, well, it's another 4 unit. Here's a 2 unit on the end. You can see on this one here that each has a 3-way view, back, front, and side on this side, and the same way on the other side. And so it's been very, very popular. It's got a nice clubhouse. And then the houses back in the back were built by the developer, and those are just for sale houses. They're a much nicer facility there. Now all the houses on the left, we're looking at the backyard of these houses, because they all face onto the river, which is just down the hill over to the left side. Now coming up on the right side would be the Catholic Church, one of 6 churches that we have here, and their cemetery is back in the back of the church. They just got a new priest here from California here, a nice Father Mike here. Now off to the right you'll see a few of these baskets that basically are a frisbee golf. You'll also start to see in just a second the part of the valley here where we have the rose garden. In the Catholic Church you have to be married in the church. You cannot be married at the water's edge or anything like that. So as soon as they get done with their vows, they then run over here to the rose garden here on the right for all of their pictures and everything like that. This is another one of our many parks with the gazebos back towards the back. This is also a overflow parking for the big festival that we saw earlier, and you'll see the stage as we continue along here. So down in the bottom, you see the dog park here. On the left is where the Broner family lives now. This is where Mrs. Broner lives. He had died about 8 years ago. We had the dog park back there. Now we have the Horseshoe Pit here on the right side. Over to the right, you're going to see the big pavilion that we saw earlier with that. This is all overflow parking here. The boat dock there on the left-hand side. Again, here comes the little birdhouses over on the white post on your right side, in case you didn't see it earlier there. Oh, here's some of those sporting events. So we got a football player and a track player on the left-hand side, living in that house. A front view of the Broner house here on your right-hand side. Now, what was very funny was last year there's a very steep bank here down to the river, and it was too steep over on your left-hand side for them to cut the grass, so they brought in goats. They let the goats harvest. We'll turn left here. Now, as we turn left here, this is a Veterans Memorial Park here on your right-hand side. You can actually have your veteran's name and put on the wall. When they have the different festivals here, they usually have something going on. The brewery on your left was destroyed by the tornado line right across there, destroyed all that. Now, when you have some free time in town, there's really no reason to walk up this hill. We just have hotels, office buildings, and stores and private houses here up at the top of the hill. There's no reason to walk up here. There's your hotel again on the right. So now you go downhill, you'll see there's a little restaurant here on the left. There's a nice White House jewelry store here. The cheese shop on your left. A woolen store here on your right-hand side. They're expanding on that. You have a gift shop there on the left. You have the women's clothing store here on your right. You have the coffee shop, the fudge shop here. The coffee shop there on your right. Public bathrooms on your left. The candy shop, excellent spot there. The beignets, Michigan.
Are we going in there now?
We're going to go straight. And so as we come on down here, the two restaurants. Both of the restaurants have small eating rooms there. Downstairs on the right and over here out at stores or inside there for a coffee shop type of deal. We have the leather shop here on your left-hand side. During the wintertime, we have an ice skating rink here on your right-hand side.
Does your store stay open in the evenings?
The stores stay open till 7 o'clock as far as that goes. We're going to turn right at the traffic light.
Is there a building that shows where the government works from?
That was back over where the senior center was, and at City Hall, the senior center. Now over to your left, you'll see Covenant Glen. This is the other assisted living. This is the newest and the nicest of the facilities over on the left-hand side there. This is our American Legion VFW auxiliary halls here on the left-hand side. Quite popular as far as a restaurant meeting location. It is rented out quite a bit at a time, and we have our various deals. Over to the left side, you see our golf course. This is owned by the Zender family, who has Zender Restaurant. Nice little 18-hole golf over there on your left-hand side. A Boy Scout building. This is one of only two in the United States on the right-hand side. This was put up by the Rotary Club. They built the building here. And there's a tremendous amount of pictures inside in the 1930s when they built this building and donated it to the Boy Scouts. It eventually became the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts building, and eventually was turned over to the city for maintenance and other stuff like that. Still a nice place to be rented. On the left, the big barn over there is our clubhouse for the golf course, and the building to the left is where the golf carts are. And so there's the barn on the left. You can have your meals over there and everything, plus of course the check-in and check-out as far as that goes. This building on the left has been under construction for about 4 years now. It's going to become a bed and breakfast eventually, and it's being built by the builder who built my house, but obviously he's in no hurry to get that building built. I mean, it's been for 4 years. This was the original building right here, and they have added on and added on, but never opened it up yet. Now we're going to turn left here. Again, there's the bridge over there to your right. This bridge was actually built on the other side of the river during the winter of 1979. It then was towed across the frozen river with oxen, and every year when they have the walk across the Mackinac Bridge, they have another walk across this bridge over here. So now there is the Glockenspiel, the bell tower over on your left-hand side. We'll just turn left at this little driveway up here.
There's trees, I can't go around that building. I can't make around that building, I know it already.
Okay, we'll just,
I'll turn around.
yeah, we can turn around.
I'll turn around right here. I already went back there and I couldn't get
Okay.
it. See these trees?
Yep,
We don't fit.
no problem. Okay, so the Glockenspiel here starts at 3 o'clock. There's a couple minutes of make work build. We'll turn right here. And so there are some benches outside. Now what we'll do is we're going to drive you over to the main door. And that's where you'll go into the bakery, or you'll go downstairs to the shops and restrooms. And then you can come out this doorway right here at 3 o'clock to watch the Glockenspiel. The Glockenspiel is the bell tower, and then down below where you see that brown spot, that is where the piper will come on out and run around. There used to, well, you can sit on the bench, there's the benches right there. We'll turn right at the opening here. This is where we're going to drop you off here, and this is where you'll come back, you know, right here. And here is the doorway between these two wooden soldiers here. You're going to go in here and go right through. Now, if you don't want to go downstairs, you can just take this ramp right over to your right. You just go right into the front door of the restaurant, and then you can just go out the side door over to the Glockenspiel at 3 o'clock.